All right, I'm back and I'm going to do a video and I'm going to compare these three buzzes as kind of an evolution of Buzz Lightyear video. So from left to right, we have a 95 Buzz Lightyear. The center, we have a flight control Buzz Lightyear. And then over here, we have the signature collection Buzz Lightyear. And I just thought this would be an interesting comparison to see the evolution of Buzz Lightyear toys over a period of years. Obviously, there's ones that would fit in between these. But I think this is a pretty good gist of it. Anyway, so what I want to start with, I think, is just the 1995 Buzz. So in 1995, when you got your Buzz Lightyear, you just had basically a bare bones Buzz. No wrist communicator, little pop-out wings. He does glow in the dark, so that was a bonus. You had your flip-up helmet. Mine doesn't have a movable head. At least I'm pretty sure it doesn't move. I'll try to force it. Nope. Yeah, mine's locked in, which is a little odd because other 95 buzzes I've seen have a movable head. I'm kind of wondering if this one is one of the yellow label 95 buzzes that came out first. There was like one that had the Buzz Lightyear label across the box that was yellow, and then they came out with another one that had a different label after that because they didn't make enough to meet demand, like they said in Toy Story 2. Anyway, so what you got with this one was what I mentioned. You got the laser on it. You got his little voice phrases.
To infinity and beyond.
He only has 4 of them. You got the flexibility and the movement, so you could pose him a little bit, so that was nice. You had the flip up and down helmet. And my wings are broken, so I took the stuff out of them, so I just have to pull them out. But you got the little pop-out wings. And you got the glow-in-the-dark feature. And that was about it. You got a little movement at the waist. Mine's really tight. And you got the flexibility in the fingers and the single finger that pointed. That's all you got in 1995 for your Buzz Lightyear. Okay. Then they broke down and came out with the flight control. Of course, this is all, there was buzzes in between these. But next up in our line is the flight control. So how did we evolve from 95 Buzz up to the flight control? The flight control Buzz just has a better look to it. The head sculpt looks better. You have the flip up and down helmet. You have the I gotta turn him on here. You have the laser.
I am Buzz Lightyear. Good job. That was a top-notch landing.
You have the laser on there, which is a much better sounding laser than this guy's. I mean, well, they're both all right. This laser I don't know, it just sounds more quality. I don't want him to start flying on me.
Have no fear. Buzz Lightyear has arrived.
Okay, you had an actual opening wrist communicator with a movie.
Hey, let's go. We've got to rendezvous with Star Command.
With a nice movie accurate looking sticker.
Good job. That was a top-notch landing.
And on top of that, you had a button that you could press so you could interact with it, which is fun.
Buzz Lightyear to Star Command. Come in, Star Command.
There's also an Infinity Edition Buzz Lightyear that would have had this too, this type of a wrist communicator.
Buzz Lightyear to Star Command.
So
They answer.
you had that, which is a lot of fun. You had his regular phrases.
Check laser. All systems go. Prepare for night vision.
You had night vision. So you have this light that lights up down there when you press the red button. Add it on.
Have no fear. Buzz Lightyear has arrived.
You had that little sound effect.
Check laser. Better fasten my seatbelt. Oh, I don't have a seatbelt.
You had the flip up and flip down helmet. You had a posable head that is also weighted.
Job. That was a top-notch
for the flying. The face sculpts are similar between these. I think just the tone of this one looks better to me, and the tone of the green looks better than on the 95 Buzz. You had the pop-out wings that also has, a speech recognition thing in this button, so he'll talk when you press it.
Ready for flight. Wings deployed. Maximum wingspan achieved. Ready for flight. Maximum wingspan achieved. Well, yes, they are beryllium carbonic alloy.
So that's really cool. Also,
have no fear. Buzz Lightyear has arrived.
these wings are just a little bit translucent.
Good job. That was a top-notch landing.
So you can see my finger a little bit through these wings.
Have no fear. Buzz Light.
Turn them off for a second. Whereas on the 95 Buzz, so you can see that those are a different, much solider color, not as a light color of purple. And they are not going to be slightly translucent. They're much thicker, as you can see there. Okay, also on the flight control, Buzz, you got the flying feature, which is amazingly cool. So, turn them on again.
Buzz Lightyear reporting for duty. Ready for flight.
You pick him up, he knows where he's at. He's got a gyro.
And beyond. Not this way, that way.
And he talks to you depending on what you're doing
Going a little fast, don't you think?
while you're flying him around. Mine has a little bit of an issue going on, but that's what that weird noise is. Sometimes he does that, sometimes he doesn't, but, it's all right. He's old.
Turning. I'm getting dizzy.
And he knew when you landed him,
Domain, let's go. We've got to rendezvous with Star Command.
which is really, really neat also. You had the movable fingers with the one finger that you could point, and the rest are
Have no
stationary.
fear. Buzz Lightyear has arrived.
A little bit of movement at the waist and all of that. So huge upgrades from the original 1995 Buzz to the flight control Buzz, which is pretty cool. Now we get into the signature. And the signature is interesting because the signature, the more I look into different Buzz Lightyears, the more I realized that when they made the Signature Collection Buzz, what they did was they took a lot of cues from all of the different Buzzes that they've released over the years and kind of combined them into one. And I say that for multiple different reasons, just because of the phrases and the way he interacts with you, because there's been different interacting Buzzes in the past. He has the flight thing where when you're flying him, he does the zoomy noise and all that. We're going to show that. Of course, this Buzz is, like the top of the line as far as what they've released so far, as far as all the features that he has and what he can do. So, switch him on here. And so, with this guy,
I am Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger.
you get the movable head, so he's got a motor in his head. He'll interact with your voice when you talk.
No readout yet if the air is breathable. I better keep my helmet closed.
Which is really cool. You have a wrist communicator that also interacts when you open it. There's no button, but it does interact when
I
you
need to
open it.
rendezvous with Star Command.
Much like this did with the button, and an Infinity Edition would have done with the button.
Buzz Lightyear to Star Command. Come in, Star Command.
So you have that. You have the laser. Much better sounding laser compared to the other
Are
lasers.
you ready for it?
You have the voice phrases.
I am Buzz Lightyear.
You have the toy mode phrases where his head
I protect the
doesn't
galaxy
move.
from the threat of invasion.
And you have the alive mode where he does move around.
I am Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger.
You have the helmet where he knows when you open the helmet.
The air space fence hem on an uncharted planet. My eyeballs could have been sucked from their sockets.
And I watched
Switching to internal air supply.
a review of this guy, and the one I watched, I
To infinity
swear
and beyond.
he had a helmet that made the same kind of a noise when you open it as this one does.
Local
Mine
law
doesn't
enforcement,
do
it's
that.
about time you got here.
I don't
My ship
know.
has crash landed here by
For
mistake.
sure, as you can see by when I was flying him around,
Have you seen my spaceship?
mine has an electrical
It'll
issue or
take
something
weeks to
going
repair.
on. I'm not really worried about it. It's not a big deal. It's old. I'm not really surprised. But
Perhaps some fresh air will help. Could you please help me open my helmet?
then also with this one, you get the rubber waist, so you get the flexible waist.
The evil Emperor Zurg is out there somewhere.
You have individual moving fingers, which of course was a new
This
thing.
galaxy needs my protection. Who's in charge here?
Which of course was a new thing for this Buzz Lightyear. You have a little more flexibility in that you have a
I
twist
sense something.
down
Look
here
out.
at the leg that you wouldn't have had in those, as well as this one has the ratchet joints. As far as the wings, of course, on this one you have the larger
Hey, this
wingspan.
place looks familiar. Have I been here before?
So
I could fly around this room with my eyes closed.
you get the larger wingspan plus the flashing red and green lights
Hello, my friend. How are you today?
on this one, on the ends of the wings, and you get the translucent wings that are much more translucent than the flight control was. But you could tell just looking at
You, my friend, are one of my favorite life.
the flight control
Really, you are.
Buzz
A space ranger never lies.
that the tone is similar.
You might say we'll be friends to infinity and beyond.
So that's pretty cool. And then stolen from the flight control, you also get
My sensors indicate Zurg is in the area. Take cover.
the deal where when you do this, he'll make flying noises and move his head around. It's a motor instead of a weighted head, but he does make flying noises and move his head around when you fly him, like the flight control Buzz did. And he knows when you land him, like the flight control Buzz did.
See? I can fly.
So they definitely took that from the flight control Buzz,
Stand back while I power up my laser.
which is very, very interesting.
My wings are standard issue. The finest beryllium carbonic alloy design.
So he'll also, he interacts with you. Flight control Buzz doesn't
To
really
infinity
interact with you,
and
but
beyond.
if you leave him sit for long enough, he'll start talking to you. It's not an interaction thing, but he does start talking to you.
As a member of the elite
So-
Space Ranger Corps, I'm trained for any task at hand.
Of course, the phrases that Signature says are way better, and it's, the movie accurate voice.
No
and
readout yet
flight
if the air
control
is
isn't.
breathable. I better keep my helmet closed.
But yeah, I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing that I came to
Local law enforcement,
realize.
it's about time you got here. My ship has crash landed here by mistake.
This Signature Buzz actually takes a lot of
I
inspiration
am Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger.
from the flight control Buzz Lightyear
I'm stationed up in the Gamma Quadrant of Sector 4.
too, and it also, of course, uses the digital data, like the digital data buzzes that they've
As
released.
a member of the elite
As far
Space
as what
Ranger
it looks
Corps, I'm
like.
trained for any task at hand.
So this Signature Collection Buzz is kind of a culmination of all the Buzz Lightyear
This
figures
galaxy needs my protection. Who's in charge here?
that have been released over the years
To
into
infinity
one
and beyond.
figure. It doesn't have the karate chop, but that's fine.
Hello, my friend. How are you today?
And it has a few added things like the lights on the wings
Are you ready for adventure in uncharted space?
and the translucentness, the movable fingers,
Hey,
all
this place
that
looks
kind
familiar.
of thing.
Have I been here before?
So
My wings are standard issue. The finest beryllium carbonic alloy design.
for whatever reason, my red light on my wing on this flashes way brighter, or it looks way
I
brighter
sense
than my
something.
green one.
Look out!
Not sure why. The green one flashes fine though.
My
If I
sensors
like
indicate Zurg is in the area. Take cover.
turn my light off so you can see, I guess, real quick. As you can see, it flashes. It's flashing green.
Stand back while I power up my laser.
Just for whatever reason, like the tone of the bolt, the color
Evil
or
Emperor
whatever,
Zurg is out there
the red
somewhere.
looks way brighter. But they both flash.
Have you seen my spaceship?
In case you were wondering
It'll take weeks to repair it.
about that.
Buzz Lightyear, signing off.
Buzz is signing off. So yeah, I just thought that was really neat. Also, this guy glows in the dark too, like the 95 buzzes. You know, there's a lot of different buzz variations that don't have the glow in the dark paint, but they also included that on this buzz. So that's really, really neat as well that they included that. So like I said, this signature buzz over here is a culmination of like every Buzz Lightyear that they've come out with, in my opinion, from what I can tell. It combines a lot of different things from different Buzz Lightyears that they've already released into one, which is really, really neat. And I had no idea, never realized. I always thought it was cool, but until I started collecting these, I just didn't kind of see that. And I just started kind of noticing that it's a culmination of a bunch of different features from different buzzes. Heavily taken from Flight Control, I think. Just because there's a lot of similarities between the Flight Control and the signature buzz. You know, it's got the Flight Control has a little bit of translucent in the wings. That has translucent wings. The Flight Control's head moves around when you fly them. Signature's head moves around when you fly them. Signature's is a motor. Flight's is weighted, but they both move around when you fly them around. They both have a flying feature where they know when they're in flight. Obviously, Flight Control says all kinds of stuff when you're flying them around. Buzz doesn't. Signature Buzz doesn't. They both know when you land them. Flight Control works with a little button on the bottom. Signature's got some kind of a sensor mechanism that knows. I'm not sure what it is. They both have opening wrist communicators that also they can interact with. They both work differently as far as the interaction. One's a button, one isn't, but they both interact with their wrist communicator. And they both have phrases outside of all of that, on top of that. So, I mean, it's just, Signature Buzz is it's almost like an upgraded Flight Control Buzz in a lot of ways. Obviously, there's some other stuff from other Buzz releases that's thrown in there, like I mentioned, the way he looks, the information from the digital data buzzes that they released, and you know, everything else. So it's just a really cool thing to think about, and just I thought it was cool, and I started kind of putting it together in my head. I'm like, this is really heavily influenced by all of the buzzes previous to it. So it's a culmination buzz is what it is, which is really cool. And as you can see, obviously in the lineup I got here, the one that looks the most like the movie is going to be the Signature Buzz. I do wish that these weren't so high. They're cool. I just wish they weren't so high. There is quite a few of them online, really, so it's not like they're super rare, really, or anything. But, I paid quite a bit for mine, and mine wasn't in the best shape. Obviously, I had to do some stuff to it, unfortunately. So, so I'm hoping that maybe, when Toy Story 5 comes out, maybe they'll re-release Signature Buzz again. Not sure if they will, since John Lasseter left Pixar and everything, but maybe we'll get a new release of Signature Series, some Signature Series stuff. Or maybe we'll get something better, something that's even more updated from the old Signature Buzz, which would be really cool because, that's a great buzz. So they could improve on that and then release something even better, for all the Toy Story characters. For 5, that would be really, really cool, and I'm really excited to see what ends up coming out for that movie once it is finally released. And hopefully I'll be able to review whatever does come out for you guys on here once that starts to happen. Excuse me. But yeah, I just thought I would show a little evolution of Buzz. And then, of course, in there. Then you've got also, grab him. You've got Disney Store. I didn't put any batteries in this guy because I wasn't really planning on including him in it. But you've got the Disney Store Buzz, which again, as far as functionality of Buzz Lightyear, this is the one that's going to be the most movie accurate, just because he's got the whooshy helmet. You know, he's got the karate chop arm, like the movie. He's got the laser. He's got the wrist communicator. He's got the he's got the voice phrases, you know, like the movie, and then he also has the wings, and he has the lights on the ends of the wings. So, you know, Disney Store did a great job of combining everything into one. Now, if we could have like a version of this, like a mix of this Buzz somehow. The karate chop arm does limit posability, so I don't know, excuse me, if that would be a big thing to have on a newer release of a signature Buzz, if they do one for 5 of any kind. I mean, it would be kind of cool, but I think I would rather have more posability in the arms. You know, like so you could move his shoulders down lower and bicep swivel, you know, and ball joint wrists on him. Maybe if they could do a little bit longer in the wings, that would be cool. Those wings they're really good wings, but you know, if they could make them a little bit longer, that would be nice. You know, and just like kind of culminate these two in a way together. If they can make the helmet whooshy, I mean, there's a glove box in my car, and I was kind of debating on making a video, but it's just a glove box. I don't know if I should do that or not, but it's got a button on it, and you push it once, and it flips open. You push it again, and it closes itself. So why they can't do that for this helmet, I don't know. I mean, and honestly, they could have a button here to open it. They could have another button on the other side to close it. So then you could flip it up and flip it down with a button. But I mean, I'm sure you could do it with a single button too. I mean, if they can put something like that in my car, albeit it's bigger, they could do it for Buzz's helmet. You know, fully retractable helmet, probably not possible in the real world, just because of the size of the figure and everything. I mean, to do that, you probably have to make him like that much bigger. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, you know, it's just interesting to kind of look at that, to me anyway, and kind of just see that there was an evolution there in the toys, and they did progressively make the toys better. And for the signature, they drew heavily on Buzz figures that were released in the past. Again, it's a culmination of every Buzz they've released in a way. So I just thought that was really cool. It'd be something to talk about and video to put up. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell icon. When I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll be doing a giveaway. So if you want to be part of that, be sure to subscribe and stick around. And I will see you in the next video.